Another shocking scene from modern Britain, this time involving a Deliveroo worker, an unvetted migrant, who has been filmed in broad daylight doing something absolutely revolting. We'll dive into this story in today's video, but before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Right now, only 12% of our viewers are subscribed, so join the community and help us grow. This man employed to deliver food was caught on camera groping and dissecting a pigeon in the street. Let's not sugarcoat it. This isn't just strange, it's downright sickening. This is what happens when our country throws open the doors and lets in people we know nothing about. No vetting, no background checks, no standards. And then we're told to trust them with jobs where hygiene and responsibility matter, like delivering food straight to our homes. How can the British public have any confidence in a system that allows behavior like this to slip through the cracks? Think about it. If this man is willing to pick up a dirty pigeon, manhandle it, and play with it like it's a toy, what else is he capable of? What's his attitude toward basic hygiene? What does it say about the standards being forced onto our country? This isn't the Britain people grew up with. This is third world behavior being normalized on our streets. Even pigeons, the so-called sky rats, aren't safe anymore. And the bigger question, why is Deliveroo and so many other companies employing people like this without proper vetting? Once again, we're seeing how the reckless immigration system and blind corporate greed put ordinary people at risk. Standards have collapsed, and we're left dealing with the fallout. This isn't compassion, this isn't diversity, this is cultural decay. Britain deserves better than to be dragged down to third world standards, and it's happening right before our eyes. Have a watch of this. At the end of the day, this isn't just about one filthy act, it's about what it represents. An unvetted migrant employed by Deliveroo openly behaving in a way that should never be seen in a civilized country. And yet he's here working, trusted to deliver food to our homes, while the government and big corporations look the other way. This is the price of mass immigration with no standards. It drags Britain down, it puts our safety and hygiene at risk, and it makes a mockery of the country we once were. Until politicians get serious about vetting who comes into this nation, and companies like Deliveroo are held accountable, these third world standards will keep seeping into our everyday lives. And the British public, we're the ones left to live with it. In other news, Chancellor Rachel Reeves is preparing to introduce a 20% VAT charge on taxi fares across the country, according to industry sources who warn the measure could generate approximately £750 million yearly for government coffers. The proposed taxi tax would mark a significant shift in how cab journeys are taxed, with rural communities expected to bear the heaviest burden due to their dependence on private hire vehicles where public transport options remain scarce. Sources within the taxi sector indicate the Chancellor intends to reveal this VAT increase during her autumn budget on November 26th. As part of broader revenue-raising measures aimed at addressing the nation's fiscal challenges. The move would standardize VAT treatment across all private hire vehicle journeys, ending current exemptions that benefit many taxi operators outside London. Currently, taxi operators outside the capital avoid VAT charges because their drivers operate as self-employed contractors rather than employees. These independent cabbies typically earn below the £90,000 annual threshold that triggers VAT liability, allowing firms to offer journeys without adding the 20% charge. This arrangement faced legal scrutiny when Uber, which does apply VAT to its fares, mounted a court challenge seeking to force competitors to adopt similar pricing structures. Though initially successful, the ruling was reversed on appeal and subsequently upheld by the Supreme Court in July. Despite the judicial outcome favoring the existing system, Treasury officials have indicated they remain committed to examining proposals for universal VAT application across the private hire sector. Michael Solomon Williams, representing the Campaign for Better Transport, emphasized that taxis and private hire vehicles form a crucial component of transport infrastructure, particularly for countryside residents, non-drivers, and those requiring accessible door-to-door services. The focus should be on making public transport more affordable and accessible, not taxing the services that fill its gaps, hiking prices, and undermining connectivity, he stated. Research commissioned by the Stop the Taxi Tax campaign revealed concerning statistics about rural impact. Nearly 60% of village residents indicated they would cut back on taxi usage if prices rose, whilst half declared a 20% increase would be beyond their financial means. The campaign argues such measures would disproportionately affect isolated communities already struggling with limited transport alternatives. Government borrowing reached unprecedented levels outside pandemic years, with figures revealing an £11.4 billion overshoot against official projections for the April to August period. These alarming statistics have intensified pressure on the Chancellor to identify new revenue streams as she confronts what Treasury sources describe as a £50 billion gap in public finances. The taxi VAT proposal represents one element of what insiders expect to be numerous tax increases announced at the budget, as ministers grapple with deteriorating fiscal conditions. Dan Tomlinson, Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury, acknowledged the complexity of the taxi VAT issue in recent parliamentary responses, confirming that decisions on tax policy are taken at fiscal events in the context of overall public finances. Opposition groups have branded the proposal a violation of Labour's election commitment to leave VAT rates unchanged. A Stop the Taxi Tax campaign representative argued, the taxi tax breaches Labour's manifesto promised not to raise VAT. Not only that, it will hit those living in rural communities especially hard, who lack reliable and accessible public transport. Survey data from Strand Partners showed overwhelming public resistance, with 70% of voters opposing higher VAT on taxi fares. The Treasury acknowledged receiving extensive feedback through last year's consultation process. A spokesperson confirmed, "We take this issue very seriously and recognize its complexity. We're reviewing feedback from our recent consultation and will publish our detailed response shortly." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.